All right, so the other day, UFC fighter Paddy Pimblett had Dana White on his podcast, and while he was on there, Paddy decided to bring up Ariel Helwani because, as I'm sure you know, Dana isn't a big fan of his, and now Paddy isn't either. Apparently, him and Paddy had a falling out last year, which I'll get into later in this video, but Dana and Paddy, they're trashing Ariel hard, like they're really going after him. And I'm sure Paddy brought this up because he knew Dana hated him. So he's like, all right, this will help me with Dana's relationship. Dana's going to love this, which he did. He said this was the best podcast he's ever been on. But also, Paddy really does hate Ariel. He was talking a lot of trash here, maybe even more than Dana. But apparently this wasn't the best move for him because it really ended up backfiring. Because Ariel responded to it with receipts that made Paddy look pretty bad. And now all the top comments for that podcast he did with Dana are all pretty negative, talking about how Paddy made himself look terrible here. He's just trying to stroke Dana's ego. He's a yes man. He's a hypocrite. So this just ended up backfiring on him. I don't think he really knew what he was getting himself into. So let's check it out now. Let's see what him and Dana had to say about Ariel.
Like Ariel Helwani in particular, like he loves earning money off fighters. Yeah. Like every decent job he's had, he's been sacked from. You know what I mean? Like, and now he's just a biased content creator. Yeah. You know what I mean? 100%. And he hates on you, hates on the UFC, even hates on me now. Yeah. And it proper annoys me because he uses fighters for clicks, uses fighters to make money, and then tries to have the audacity to talk about the UFC and yourself, saying that they don't pay the fighters enough. Get your dough out, Ariel. You know what I mean? Start paying people for these interviews, what you make thousands and thousands and thousands of pounds on. And that, I know that now because I make money off YouTube. So I know how much he earns off YouTube, off all his interviews, what he does. And you're doing it for exposure. No, you're not. You're doing it to put money in your pocket, Ariel, you little rodent. Lads.
Woo! I just sat back and let that go. I didn't want to interrupt. He's a massive sack of is what he is.
Exactly.
He's the biggest piece of all time. And I couldn't have said it better.
He wanted, like, when I was in New York for the MSG card last year, he wanted me to do an interview with him. And I had a paid interview that day. And he wanted me to really let go of that paid interview to do an interview with him.
Right.
For BT Sport, what he's getting paid for. And he said, oh, no, that's me journalist integrity. You're not a journalist no more.
Far from it.
You're a content creator, Ariel. You're not a journalist. Stop lying. You're very biased in what you do and what you say.
So true.
And he went on his MMA hour and talked about me and my manager. And then I ended up messaging him. They're going to have to bleep this out, but my first line was, you're a cheeky you. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And he didn't like it. But I was just me being honest. You know what I mean? He was talking about me saying that I can't believe fighters and managers have got the audacity to ask me for money. Why wouldn't we? You're a content creator.
So after this, Ariel did a show talking about it all and responding to it. And like I said, he made Paddy look really bad because Paddy's big problem here is the fact that Ariel wouldn't pay him for an interview. You know, Paddy's claiming that he was in New York City doing podcast interviews that were, I guess, paying him, and Ariel wanted him to ditch those ones to go do his where he wasn't paying him. But when Ariel responded to this, he pulled up this voice memo that Paddy sent him during this time where Paddy was telling Ariel that he'd be in New York City and if he wanted to get something together, let him know. And then Ariel responded with like, yeah, let's do it. So Paddy was the one reaching out to Ariel to try to get on his show.
Yo, the big fella. What's going down, Ariel? Just thought I'd let you know, lad, if you wanted to say hi or do anything with a man. I'll be in NYC in November. I think I'm going to be there from the 3rd to the 6th. And then I'll be coming back again on the 17th or the 18th. And then be coming back to Liverpool on the 23rd. So I'm about in New York, 2 separate occasions, just in case you want to see your mate. You know what I'm saying?
October 27th. That's Paddy Pimblett sending me a voice note saying, hey, I'm going to be in New York if you want to do anything. I didn't reach out to him. I didn't ask him. He's saying, if you want to say hello or do anything together, right? I obviously understood that to be an interview or some sort of media thing. I write back, that would be amazing. I'd love to have you in studio on the show.
So then when Paddy actually went to New York City, Ariel wasn't hearing from him at all. So Ariel reached out to him and he's like, hey, you still want to do this interview? And he's like, I'm really busy. Talk to my manager. So then Ariel reached out to his manager, and his manager was kind of saying the same thing, that he's too busy and the dates weren't lining up and all this stuff. And then eventually his manager was like, listen, he's got a lot of paid interviews right now. If you want to put together a budget, maybe we could work something out.
He told me to check in with you if it's possible to have him in studio for the MMA Hour on a Monday or Wednesday. Cheers. Hey, bud, I'm good, thanks. Yes, we are in NYC now. We leave after the fights. Back end of the month, but again, it's Friday, Saturday, gone early hours, Sunday morning. Then I write back, when you come back, any Monday, Wednesday in there? No, it's Friday, Saturday. What are the days for the next trip, I ask? Maybe I can do something with him for BT Sport on the Friday. If free, he referenced BT Sport. So now I get this message from Graham. Paddy has a lot of quote unquote, as he puts it, paid booking requests right now. If BT want to put a budget forward, we can look to get something scheduled. Otherwise, he's got to take the paid work available to him. So I read that like, all right, you guys don't want to do anything unless I'm paying you. But again, that's just not what I do. If other companies are doing it, God bless, but that's just not what I do. So I write back, a simple no would have been fine. Been around a long time, as you know. First time anyone has ever said this to me. Quite insulting, to be honest with you. Nate Diaz, Nick Diaz, John Jones, Conor McGregor, GSP. Name any single fighter that has been a big name in this sport. No one has ever even hinted, insinuated, made a reference to getting paid. At their peak, at their highest, at their apex, no one has even asked, joked, hinted, anything to getting paid. And now I'm getting this. How do you think I'm supposed to feel? One fight in, all those years, when no one was talking, reporting, and now I'm saying, hey, we got paid things unless you guys want to put together a budget for an interview. All the WWE stuff, no one has ever asked me to get paid, brought it up, joked about it, even been like wink, wink, nudge, nudge, not even for a millisecond.
So also at the end there, Ariel was mentioning that before Paddy was even in the UFC, like years before that, when nobody was even talking about him, Ariel was interviewing him and promoting him. And now that he's a big star, if you want to talk to him, I guess you have to pay for it, which is kind of ridiculous. I think Paddy's head might be getting too big. I mean, most people that do podcasts and interviews and media and everything, they usually don't pay people to talk to them. And also, like Ariel proved, Paddy was the one reaching out to him, letting him know that he'd be in New York City and if he wanted to get something together. And then once he gets there, it's like, oh, if you're not going to pay me, I'm not actually going to do it. So then after all that, Paddy's manager posted this to like Instagram or something about how fighters need to be careful who they're working with and like what they do for promotion because they're worth more or something. I don't know. And then also after this, apparently Ariel mentioned it on his podcast or somebody else's podcast, but he didn't say any names or anything. But then eventually people put the pieces together and it got back to Paddy and he was really pissed about it, obviously. And people were telling him that Ariel was saying his name and talking shit about him, even though Ariel never mentioned his name. People just knew it because of this Instagram post and because Ariel referenced it. But if it weren't for this Instagram post, I don't think people would have figured it out. So then it turned into this giant thing, and that's how we end up here. And also in Ariel's video, he responded to all the other stuff that Paddy was saying about how he's like making money from YouTube and how he's a content creator and stuff. But like Ariel said when he responded to this, he actually works for a company. He doesn't do his own YouTube thing. You know, it's on somebody else's YouTube channel. He just gets paid a set rate or a salary. It doesn't matter how many views it gets. It could get like 100 million and he's still gonna make the same amount of money. And then he was also saying that Ariel profits off fighters, which is like just a dumb argument. Like, so does Dana White, so does every other reporter, and Paddy even interviews fighters sometimes on his channel. And I don't know, maybe he is, but I doubt he's paying these people. That'd be really strange. And also it's funny he calls Ariel a content creator as an insult, because that's pretty much what he is too. I think most people know him from doing podcasts and like being on YouTube and everything. What is he had like 3 UFC fights and they weren't even with any big names. I think most people know him from YouTube. So then after Ariel responded, Paddy started getting a ton of shit like in his Instagram comments because he posted his Dana White interview there, but everyone's just talking about how him going after Ariel was a really bad look. Like this person pointed out, McGregor, Cruz, Ronda, Jones, etc. never got paid on his show. Why are you so special? Another person said, he literally had receipts for everything, Paddy. Bad look for you on this one. Another person said, not a good look for you, Paddy. Sucking up to Dana. Not gonna lie, lost a bit of respect for you. Take the L, my guy, so embarrassing. Another person said you lost a fan, and he actually responded. He said, you think I care, lad? Some nerd backing Helwani over a fighter telling the truth. I have real fans on my side, and that's all that matters. And there are a ton of other comments getting thousands of likes. So this was not a good look for him. And it seems like his ego might be getting too big, and he better be careful, because right now he may be on top of the world, but in a year or two, he could be completely irrelevant. Like, if he loses a few fights in the UFC, like I think he fights this weekend, if he gets knocked out or gets embarrassed or something, then loses his next fight, and then his shtick wears off and people just don't find him interesting anymore, good luck finding people that'll pay you for interviews. So that's about it for this video. Let me know what you guys think about this. Then hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and I'll catch you at the next video.